What's going on, guys? This is Fletch here from Ultimate Halo, and as I'm sure you're aware by the title, I have a few concerns. Now, they're not major, but I don't think it's something that should be overlooked either. Now, Halo Wars 2 is set to have its $20 DLC Awakening the Nightmare later on this year. The premise looks excellent, we get a couple of more blur cutscenes, and we have the goddamn flood. Well, that says it all, and on that note, I feel like I should just leave it there and say no more. But I really do have some concerns on how it might affect Halo 6 and potentially any other subsequent games. So my name's Fletch, sit back, relax, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not already, and enjoy the video to come.
Ultimate Halo.
So there's not just one reason as to why I'm concerned, far from it actually, and I'm going to explain that there are a few scenarios that I do want to go through that could potentially hurt the future of Halo. Now, in terms of RTS games, campaign DLC is sort of a thing. We didn't get it with Halo Wars 1, fair enough, but most other RTSs do, which there isn't a problem with that, and normally with first person shooters it's not really an element, you don't really get it. That's the weird thing. So coming from a game that is primarily an FPS, it's going to add that extra layer. So the first sort of thing I do want to go through is, will the story be disposable? So in other words, is it going to be self-contained? Now this could have benefits and also negative effects, and it means that it could potentially not go anywhere. Now, if this really good story was created and the Flood naturally are coming back, which a lot of people wanted to see for a long time, is it going to be executed well, and is it going to carry forward? See, if it doesn't get carried forward into future games, there are certain fans, yes, certain fans, who might be disappointed, and personally I really like the tone and the elements that the Flood bring to Halo. Now, if that doesn't continue forward, I don't think it's the end of the world, but I think a lot of people might have a bit of a sour taste in their mouths just because it was self-contained. So following on from that, if it does actually continue and have a greater impact on the story arc, the simple fact is not a lot of people will know about it and they won't know what happens, which isn't always a bad thing, but in this case I think for the Halo community in particular, RTS games have always sort of been a bit of a niche, and that's not something we can necessarily help. RTSs don't normally get that many people playing, and Halo is primarily that first person shooter game, and people generally are only interested in the first person games. Doesn't mean Halo Wars 1 and 2 weren't good games, because they were, and I thoroughly enjoyed both of them, but there will be a large population of people that just don't get it. So when it comes to Halo 6, if this was the case, or any other Halo game, and there's the Flood there, people are going to be turning around and saying, well, what the hell, what have I missed? And then people will probably assume that they've missed another book, which we all know that really the games shouldn't rely on books or any other sort of media to sort of drive their narrative. So that's another example of something where I think it could be quite worrying. And just lastly, more than anything, will it give too many story arcs and factions? Now, we have the Banished, the Storm Covenant, the UNSC, Oni, the Created, the Swords of Sanghelios, the Warden Eternal and his Prometheans. For hardcore fans, potentially it's heaven, because they get all these great characters and factions, but for those who are more casual, I imagine that there will be some difficulty getting their heads around it. They'll be thinking, well, where does this clan or set of people link in with here, X, Y and Z, why are X here, I don't remember this happening, wait, when did Arbiter come back, and oh, what about the Flood, what? I think that's the difficult thing about it. Now, in Halo 1, there was this beauty of simplicity. There was bad guys and good guys, and there was the prehistoric aliens, which was still mysterious, and don't get me wrong, there were still parts that you had to get your head around, and I was no exception to that. You got forward to Halo 2, yes, it got slightly more complicated as motives came out. There were a lot sort of deeper stories and sort of character progressions, and the same was in Halo 3, which sort of rounded it all off and still left a lot of questions. Whereas now, there are that many factions which have been split off into sub-factions of each other. See, the Covenant aren't just one, you've got the Banished, the Storm Covenant and whoever else. It's not easy to keep track of. For those who are engaged, it's fine, but I'm just really concerned about those fans, and it might potentially put them off. They might not want to play the campaign just because it's too much for them. So for me, they are the main reasons why I'm concerned. For all we know, 343 Industries and Microsoft and Creative Assembly might have devised a pretty decent plan to combat this, and I know by absolutely no stretch of the imagination are they stupid, because they're not, and they understand what has to be done. Yes, of course they've made mistakes in the past and they probably will in the future, but they have done a lot of great things if you ask me. So I just want to see how this pans out. I don't want to start any rallying or hating, I just want to express my concerns. And let me know in the comments, do you feel the same way? Because I think it could be a serious issue for some people. So my name is Jack Fletcher. If you want to discuss this further, my Twitter is on the screen. It's at FletchUH, and also there's at Ultimate Halo, at _ Ultimate Halo, something like that. They're all on the screen. Go follow our Twitter pages because we're getting really active at the minute, and I'm sure you guys would enjoy the content. And I will see you next time on this wonderful channel called Halo Follower. I mean Ultimate Halo, of course I do. So peace out, guys.
Subscribe now to Ultimate Halo for more unfriggin' believable Halo content.